Alright. Hey, I'm Aqua, or Aquarius of Fallen Snow if you don't know me. Welcome to this lyric breakdown video. Welcome back if you've been here before. So, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the lyrics of my song Pushin Gainst Oppression, which dropped on the 18th of November 2024. If you haven't heard the song yet, you can check it out on all platforms. It's available everywhere. If you want the lyrics, they're on SoundCloud under all the songs. Unfortunately, it is a bit more of a headache to get the lyrics on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and all that, and especially to get them to track properly with the song. So I just said, hey, I'll put them on SoundCloud, and if you want the lyrics, you can find them there, as well as a lot of songs that aren't on all platforms before I have my distro kit, right? So if you want most of my early catalog, make sure you check out my SoundCloud for all of that. And for this song, I don't usually do this, but I made a clean version as well as the normal version or the explicit. So if you like the song but you want to play it around your family, your kids, or anything like that, there is a clean version that you can play that I think people will really enjoy as well. And then the last thing I say before I get into the lyrics and start breaking it down, let me know in the comments if you want me to just say the lyrics, just speak them, or if you want me to do a cappella style, kind of singing it but without the beat. I'm happy to do either. It's more a preference of the viewers and what you want to see, right? And then I'll go more into the concept of the song and my thinking behind it after I break down the lyrics. Alright, here we go. Pushin Gainst Oppression. And the song is On the Beat Warm Up by Anthony, which you can find on his page. He's got a SoundCloud, and I'm pretty sure he's on other streaming platforms as well. One more plug if you want to hear the project we did together. I got a whole EP with beats that he made and me rapping over them. It's called A Frozen Over Globe, Anthony and the Killer Cold, and then I even dropped a deluxe with double the songs, 24 tracks in total, as well as a few skits in there, and that's called A Frozen Over Globe Deluxe, available everywhere. But yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, eh? I've been trying to push against the way it is getting oppression. I've been trying to find some justice. If you're broke, it's just depressing. Fuck the govman and the 1% that's funding. If I see them in the lobby trying to lobby, I'ma slump them. So let me break down this first verse of the chorus here. You know, this is my thinking based on watching the world from, my little apartment here, making my videos, my content, and just kind of putting my thinking out there into my music. This is how I feel about the world, and I'm trying to make this for people who relate to, what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, right? And then, yeah, in terms of that last bar in the first verse of the chorus, I had somebody ask me what slump means, or like slump 'em. What does that mean? It's basically like knock 'em out, right? You're gonna slump 'em over, and they pass out, right? But not a fan of the lobbyists, not a fan of the money and the politics and all that shit. And I can go more into that after I break down all the lyrics. So now the second verse of the chorus. I wake a little older every day, only ever pissed and raging. I don't want a pot to piss in if it's charged in monthly payments. Mr. Moneybags, he don't know no change. I've been flying up above the clouds, outer space I elevated. So a little reference to the Monopoly man there, and talking about the people in power, how when you get to a certain level, they don't carry any cash or coins on them. They don't know about the change. And then it's also a double entendre talking about change in society and a revolution and political change, right? They don't know about that stuff because they're just trying to keep their shit going. They're trying to perpetuate the system that helps them so much, right? That keeps them in power with all the money and the wealth. So now let's get into the verses and the body of the song, right? So in the first verse, this is just my wake up, finish up 3 beats for eggs and breakfast. If I said fuck him, I meant it. Bash with pipe until I bent it. You know I got my lightning veins. I could super shock her face. I can't make up with a fucking pussy if he shows he's fake. Right? So I think there's a few good play on words there, a few good rhymes, a few double entendres, right? And then it is talking about my life and my experience, how I'm waking up all the time. I'm either feeling cranky, I'm pissed and raging, or I'm waking up and I'm working on my music and stuff to kind of get those emotions out. But yeah, there are some days where I finish up 3 songs before I even have breakfast, and that'll only take like an hour or two, and then I'm feeling good, starting my day right. But that's its whole other can of worms about being productive and, creating more than you're consuming, right? So to the second verse now. In the grass there's hella snakes. Ain't afraid if I must waste one. Don't need ray guns to do damage like them pussies certain places. I flow like water and I'm walking even smoother wearing blue, feeling cool, like the Ice King, powers booming. So there's 3 different references in there, low-key 4. First line, it's kind of like a Legend of Zelda Link reference when he's in the grass looking for the gems, right? The gems in the rough. Ain't afraid if I must waste one, that's a GTA reference talking about getting wasted when you die, right? Don't need ray guns to do damage like Black Ops Zombies, right? If you know, you know. Like them pussy certain places talking about all, the gang violence and all that shit. It's like, why can't we all like come together, rise up against the people who are oppressing us, right? The people who actually have all the money and power. Why are we fighting each other on our common level? Like we're basically like the slaves of this economy. I'm trying to look for the word because I thought there was a word in Egyptian times, like the times or the thaves or something like that. The shores or the casts maybe. It was something like that. There's another word for it, but yeah, we're basically still enslaved to the wages and the taxes, and it never went anywhere. It was never truly abolished. They just call it business and economics now, right? Oh, it's just good business practice. It's just competition. But then you're having like child labor over in third world countries and perpetuating that shit. You know what I mean? And then, of course, the last bar in that verse, it's an Adventure Time reference, right? Referencing the Ice King and how I'm the water boy, Lil Freezy, Aqua the Icebox. If you go on my SoundCloud in the bio, you can see all my AKAs, also known as, all the other personas. So now into the third verse of the body of the song. Man, if money's what's important to you even over other humans, then I ain't got no problem telling you to your face you're fucking stupid. Like who you think is working, who puts value to your time, who the fuck you think been putting curses on all of mankind. There's a lot to unpack there, man. I'm talking about magic, I'm talking about the slavery, the people in power, and who's working. We're the working class, but they're the ones making all the money and profiting the most and doing the least amount of work. How the fuck does that work, And then, yeah, I got no problem beefing with people, but it's all differing opinions and how strongly people are willing to push their opinions and their beliefs, because at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree, but sometimes there are people just talking straight lies and straight bullshit, and then you gotta call them out on that. If it's just a point of view and how people see the world, that's different, but when it comes to, like, enforcing those views on other people, then you start to have issues with fascism, with oppression, which is basically what I'm talking about in this whole song, right? And this is basically a song for the working class, for the slaves, But I'll get into that more at the end, right? And then the last verse in the body of the song, I'm trying to rip glass, only plant, fuck crystal meth, I was sick up in the head, have to change or end up dead. Who's the best? If it ain't me, then I ain't restin'. Port couldn't arrest. I'll keep fighting, 'cause I'm demented. And that's kind of a cheesy little verse at the end there. I was talking to somebody recently and they informed me how MDMA and meth are different, but they're both amphetamines. And I think I got mixed up back in the day, because I'm sure MDMA, meth, and ecstasy are all basically the same, and especially when you don't know where it's coming from, what it could be cut with or mixed with, you don't know what you're getting basically, right? And I never smoked any of that shit, I'll tell you that right now. But now I'm talking about how I gotta stick to smoking my greens. I even gotta move away from the greens with tobacco, because even that shit's fucking up my lungs and my gums and my mouth and all that shit, right? Gotta focus on the health of your body, because the body's a temple, right? And then after that, it goes back to the chorus, and that's it. So now I can kind of go more into my thinking and where my head was at for writing this track. Over the past little bit, I haven't been working, I haven't been able to find a job. Now I'm even talking to an unemployment agency to try and help me get a job. But it really does feel like slavery, and now with AI and how technology is advancing since the Industrial Revolution, I don't even know how many people are going to be needed in the workforce as compared to even just a few years ago, right? And like I said, breaking down the bars and the body of the song, this really is a song for the slaves or the working class of this generation, and really how I feel as one of those people in the world, looking at the people in power and the people with all the money and the wealth, and realizing how extremely people are impoverished. In one of my other songs, I said, how the fuck do we still have third world countries? And why is the government always stepping in? Does that not lead you to questions of the people in power and them saying they have to protect our democracy, but then they go in and perform coups or assassinate democratically elected leaders just to prop up their dictator of a candidate, right? And you can see this all throughout time, all throughout history, and especially if you go even to the CIA's Wikipedia page, it even lists a bunch of the shit they did. So imagine the whole list with the stuff that they censored or had redacted as well, right? Like even in North America, you can see it with the Black Panther Party. You can see it with MLK and his movement, and how time and time again, you have these groups of people who want to, rise up or, who want to fight for equality for the average person, and then they get snubbed out, and especially in groups of minorities. And this even goes back to the video I made talking about fascism, how the whole world is fascist, and you can't point your fingers anymore because no matter where you look, it's all the same thing, or once you get to a certain level, they're all part of the top, right? That's the symbolism that's on the American $1 bill, is that pyramid with the eye on top. Sure, it could be representative of a pyramid of Egyptian times and all that, but I think it's more symbolic of the economy and how our world is structured in general. You know what I mean? Not to mention that same shape applies to enlightenment, it applies to the economy. You can overlay it on whatever model, and similar to a bell curve, kind of averages out. But in this case, you're going up to the top, which is the 1%, right? Or I guess it's the same shape as a bell curve, but then inverted statistics, right? Because on a bell curve, you have the least amount at the ends and the most in the middle, but with the pyramid, you have the least amount at the top and the most at the bottom, right? Or if we want to look a bit more into the symbolism of it, if you tilt the bell curve sideways, it's kind of the two pyramids, which could also be symbolic of, the sun that we see and the black sun that people talk about, both in, flat earth and in the occult. I'm pretty sure with Freemasonry, they talk about, the two pillars and the black and white checkerboard floor and the regular sun and the black sun underneath the earth or the plane or our realm. And I also have videos talking about this stuff if you go back to my more recent episodes of the Shit Shooting Gallery podcast that I do, which you can find on this same YouTube page. I think the world is a lot of symbolism and occultism, but with this song, I'm trying to say the quiet part out loud. I feel like I'm trying to speak for the people that I've talked to, both at part-time jobs and online, and how everybody at this level or class of people all pretty much feels the same way, and we're all looking up at the people in power, like what happened with the Occupy Wall Street movement, where we were on the ground looking up at the investment bankers and the people sitting drinking champagne on the balcony, right? Literally looking down on us below them. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good breakdown to the lyrics and to my song, Pushin Gainst Oppression. And for making it this far in the video, I'm going to give you a little reward, which is a teaser of the next song that should be dropping, which is titled Phenomenal. You already know.
I feel phenomenal, could never fight like dominoes. You have some clowns at a party made for kids while I'm an animal. Like a tiger in a cage, put on stripes like I sprayed. Maybe in another place they call a zebra, that's a game. Ignorance is foolish. I said watching over like a bat or a gargoyle. You know the system made to pump out slaves like troopers. No, I seen it way back, so why would I stay in school? Picking it back up and ripping.
So yeah, there's a little taste of what's to come and a little teaser of the tracks that'll be dropping in the new year. And I think I'll even throw this, Pushin Gainst Oppression, and another track on a little 3-piece EP for you guys. And I think it's kind of funny that the last thing I mentioned was the Occupy Wall Street and the people at the top looking over. And then the bar in Phenomenal talking about watching over like a bat or a gargoyle. But that was a Batman reference, and I feel like that situation is more of a Robin Hood situation. And almost to the nth degree, because Bruce Wayne himself, not only does he give back as his Bruce Wayne character, but also as Batman trying to keep his city safe while also not hurting people and taking a pacifist role, right? I think there's a lot to be said for characters like Batman and other superheroes, characters like Robin Hood, and these characters that we see trying to help people or give back. I think it's a lot better referencing those types of characters rather than idealizing celebrities or these people we say in everyday culture that are probably propped up by the media companies and these people with money. I think someone like Stan Lee was trying to do what I'm doing with this type of thing in his own way with his characters and using them to tell a story. You know, sometimes it's anti-heroes like Deadpool or Hulk, but I feel like even those characters have takeaways with their stories as well, right? And at the end of the day, everything is perspective. And I've been saying this on other social media platforms. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind, I'm just trying to open people's eyes. And especially with my music, I'm trying to tell you my story and talk about my life, my perspective, and how it's felt for me growing up and, my experience in this physical body. And now I'm going to try and expand to talking about the more spiritual and enlightened topics that I've been learning about and talking about on my podcast and see if I can work those into the music. For both the sake of that's the content that I want to make and because it's a bit of a challenge trying to do something other than the norm. Trying to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone and work on other types and styles of music. Similar to what I do with my physical art, if you see my Instagram page, I've been trying to turn trash into treasure and make mosaic, collage style pieces using trash to turn it into treasure. But yeah, the last thing I'll say for this video is that my music is on all platforms and I post on multiple socials like TikTok and Instagram, and my link tree will be in the description of this video, so if you want to check out any of my other platforms, make sure you hit that link and it'll all be in one place for you. And before you go, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Not only are you joining the family and help building the community, but then you never miss the next video I drop either. It could be another lyric breakdown vid, could be some theories, could be a podcast episode, either a solo or a guest episode, as well as a ton of other possibilities, so you never know what's coming next. That being said, I feel like this is a perfect place to leave it for now. I love you, stay safe, good luck, easy.